welcome to my channel. My name is Angelina and today we're going to be talking about my worst books of the year. Hopefully this will end up being sort of a quick video just because I am the kind of person who DNFs a lot of books. I don't tend to continue reading books that I don't like unless I'm reading it for a specific purpose or like I'm buddy reading it with a friend or whatever, but I do DNF a lot. But just as a disclaimer, just because I say that these are my worst books that I read in 2025 doesn't make these books inherently bad or it means you guys shouldn't read these books or whatever. I do think a lot of people will end up enjoying these books, and honestly some of these books are very popular and hyped, so there's obviously an audience for them. They just were not for me personally. Also, some of these books I have listed up on my Pangos books. I'll have that linked in the description if you're interested in checking it out. But yeah, I do not keep books on my shelves that I didn't like, so yeah, I am getting rid of them. But let's go ahead and talk about the 7 books that I have. So I have only rated 2 books 1 star this year because, again, I do tend to DNF books that I don't like. But the very first one that I gave 1 star to is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. And I know this is such a hyped book, such a hyped author. Everyone's always talking about this series. It is a grimdark fantasy series, and what made me pick it up was that I had saw so many people that I follow talk about how good this author is at writing female main characters, and I very much disagree with that. Obviously, this is the only book that I have read by this author, so maybe his other books or later in the series he does get better. But this first book, I don't see what everyone is talking about. First of all, the one female main character's point of view that we do have doesn't happen until like part 2 of this book. And all the women in this book are treated horribly, and I just don't see why so many people are saying that he's great at writing female main characters. I don't see that at all. Maybe I just went into this book with the wrong expectations because that was what I was looking for in a fantasy book. I don't tend to pick up many fantasy books by male authors, and so I was hoping that this one was one that I could get into since it is such a popular series, but it just was not for me. The next book that I rated 1 star is sort of similar in a sense, and that is The Millionaire Next Door. This one is a nonfiction book all about money, finances, that kind of thing, and I know this is like the one finance book that like everyone's always talking about, and sure, you can get like one good sentence out of this book, but I think there are so many better finance books out there. I actually did a short on all of my favorite finance books. I'm not sure if that will have gone up before or after this video, but if it's already out, I will have it linked for you guys because there are so many better finance books out there. This one specifically, the author writes this book only for guys. He's only talking about how guys can get money and become millionaires. He's only talking about guys who are millionaires already and what they did. And I do know, before someone comments it, that this author has a second book where he is talking about women millionaires. And I have also read that one. It is slightly better. I didn't technically count that second one as one that I read just because I kind of skimmed it, because it is the exact same as this one, but just put in the point of view of women. And it's just the same info. It's a waste of time. I think, again, better books are out there. Everyone sort of holds this one up as like the best finance book because it kind of tells you how like everyday people can be millionaires and all these different like statistics, which is sort of interesting. But if you've read other finance books or you watch any finance YouTubers, you're gonna get the same information, and it's also not going to be as gendered as this author makes it out to be. So yeah, this one just did not do anything for me. So this year I read the entire Housemaid trilogy by Freida McFadden. I did vlog my entire experience reading the 3 books in this series, and I gave all 3 books 2 stars. They just were not for me. They're very palatable in that they're like super easy to read, you can fly through them, but I think they're very cliche. I don't like the characters. I won't get too much into it because I did have a really long vlog reading all these books and telling you guys all of my opinions on this series, and I do know there is some accusations of this author having plagiarized at least the first book in this series, so yeah, take that as you will, but I will not be reading anything else by this author. I just really could not care less about this series. Next book is Alchemised, which is one that got super hyped. It is a dark romantic-y kind of book. And I did buddy read this one with my friend, and she loves the book, and we did have some like discussions on it. So I do understand why her and so many other people enjoyed this book so much and why it got so hyped. It just was not for me. This is very much a character study kind of book. If you need a plot in your fantasies, you're not going to get that. This book was extremely boring in my opinion. It's over 1,000 pages of just nothing happening until like the last, I don't know, like 5% of this book. So you have to really like these characters and be invested in them to get anything out of the story. And honestly, I didn't care about the characters that much. So yeah, this one really didn't work for me. But again, I do understand why it got so hyped. ZomRomCom by Olivia Dade. I had such high hopes for this one. It is this quirky romance set where our main character teams up with her next door neighbor during the zombie apocalypse, and she finds out that he is a vampire. And that premise just sounds so good, and it gave me such high hopes for this book, but I wouldn't even say that that's really what the book is about. Like, it is, but it isn't. The whole plot of this book goes by so fast. The only thing I was interested in was the plot, what was going on, sort of dystopian kind of vibes were happening. The romance, I could care less about. I really didn't like it. It was a little insta-lovey. Not a fan of it, and yeah, this one was just a real disappointment. I wouldn't even say it was fun, just because all of the action bits were kind of very much skipped over. And yeah, it's like every part of this book that I did like just happened way too quick. Things like moved on. Like there's this whole sort of like found family side characters that I really enjoyed and I wanted more of them, but they're sort of just very much brushed over. And yeah, just things like that with this book really brought my enjoyment of it down, and I did give it 2 stars. Next up, we have Our the Pumpkin Queen. This is another one that I had vlogged. I did like a spooky reading vlog where I was reading a bunch of more spookier books for Halloween. Again, I'll have that video linked for you guys if you want to check it out, but I did end up reading this one for that video, and this one is book 2 in, I guess, the series. I do not think there needed to be a sequel to the first book. It is Nightmare Before Christmas inspired. It has all the characters. In the first book, we see Sally become the Pumpkin Queen, and she goes through some things. She works on herself and her self-esteem. All of that progress and everything that happened in book 1 don't matter in this book, honestly. I feel like all of the character progression that Sally had just went out the window, and I just did not care about the plot of this one at all. They do have separate authors. Again, I said in my original vlog, I have no clue what happened there, of why the original author wasn't the one to write this book, but either way, I just wasn't a fan of this book. It didn't need to exist, and yeah, I just didn't get anything out of it, which is so sad because it does have some beautiful sprayed edges, but it just was not for me. And the last book I have to talk to you all about is Onyx, which is book 3 in the 4th Wing series. This one I did give 2 stars to. I will say I am a fan of this series. I did really enjoy books 1 and 2, and I was really looking forward to this 3rd installment, and it was such a flop, honestly. I feel like this one is very agreed upon in like everyone who loves the series, that book 3 just really was not it. But I was side-eyeing everything in this book. I found like all of the plot points to be really confusing. The magic system that we were already well aware of being 3 books in, I felt like got very convoluted and confusing. And I don't know if it was just the way the author was writing everything, that everything just like got very convoluted and didn't make any sense, but this book flopped so hard that I honestly don't know if I want to continue the series. So yeah, very sad because I do own the first 2 books in the series. I was so looking forward to having a really long fantasy series to look forward to all the release dates of all these future books, and I kind of just don't care anymore after this book. I'm just not into it anymore, and that's really sad. But yeah, I can't really say too much about this book, so I don't want to spoil the series for anyone. I do know it is very hyped. It has obviously gained so much attention, but this book just was not it. But those are the 7 books that I had to talk to you about today. This is more of a negative video, but I really hope it didn't come off too negative, because again, I do understand why people can enjoy these books. They just weren't for me personally, but I would love it if you guys could leave me in the description what your worst book of was for 2025. And if you don't want to do that, but you still want to comment something, leave me like the black heart or the broken heart emoji, just because these books were not that great. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!